Hello and good evening. Welcome to YTV. This is Beyond the Headlines, another beautiful evening of political conversations with your host, Montsosa, Mr. Good Manners, and I'm glad to be here and hosting my guest this evening, the Honorable Member of Parliament for Letlhakeng constituency, Honorable Domcaza Mokgwathi. Honorable Brigadier Domcaza Mokgwathi. Honorable, welcome to Beyond the Headlines.
Thank you so much.
An important piece of information in your title, Brigadier.
That's right.
Brigadier
General Mokgwathi.
Brigadier General.
Yes.
Thank you so much. When history was made, 2024, I was deployed in your constituency. Do you still remember the day, the time, the weather? How you are the ultimate winner?
Thank you very much. I remember very well that very day, that very morning, when the results were announced.
Yeah.
And I became victorious that particular day. I actually took a very long walk, 7-kilometer walk.
Is it?
Just to celebrate and show my people that indeed I am a soldier who can well carry them to the promised land.
Where did you walk? No,
a periphery about 7 kilometers.
Right.
Yeah.
What was happening during the walk?
During the walk, there were followers, people in a joyous mood, following me. I was leading them in that walk until I finished at the square, where I had to give a speech of telling them that I indeed am humbled with whatever they had done to me, right, to become a victor.
Do you think you saw it coming? No solo hits?
Yes, as a soldier, I've been taught never to start a war that you cannot win. Like I said before, there's a general called Sun Tzu, a general from China. General Sun Tzu.
Right.
He has this to say: if you don't know yourself, know the enemy, you have to succumb to every battle. But if you know yourself and not the enemy, for every battle, you will also suffer a defeat. But if you know your enemy as well as yourself, you will not be afraid to fight 100 battles. So that is what actually motivated me as a student of strategy to say, if a strategist like Sun Tzu had said this, why wouldn't I go for it? And I did.
Right. Honorable, to unpack this topic, governance and accountability.
Yes.
You are part of the ruling UDC, the new government, the new administration. Is the new government keeping its promises?
Thank you very much. A very good question. Fulfilling UD's mandates one step at a time. Yes, we have been able to make some progress. Of course, with challenges. Some of the challenges, as you know.
Yeah, Honorable. What challenging? I want to know very soon, as you know, it's in a special.
That's right.
Been there, done that. We've been down this road before. The achievements were with challenges.
That's where I was going. I was going with challenges that we faced. There are certain achievements that we have actually fulfilled at the moment.
Which promises have you kept?
We have kept an increment of tertiary students' allowances.
But that's not what you promised them.
I said from my beginning, I said fulfilling our promises one step at a time.
Perhaps you were succumbing to pressure. Minister Maeleona, we are parliamentary, a few days later, some assaulted, he said, how do you react to that?
No, I wouldn't say the UDC government was reacting to pressure. Like I said, we are fulfilling promises one step at a time. Remember, the Botswana has given us a mandate of 5 years.
But I give you a specific example. I want you to comment on that one. Yeah, Banaba School.
No, but yeah, the students, well, like any other governments, because we are a government of human rights, students are free to actually demonstrate without any hindrances. They were free to do that, and therefore accepting that and realizing is the fact that they came in. It does not mean we were not on our way to actually fulfilling the promise of giving them 2,200. It was they came at a time when we were to give them that. And
but tona nasa to bua mo malatsinyane gore ga gona madi re na go gona go okeletsa bana. The floor of parliament, on the floor of parliament.
At the time. But as you see, we are building the economy. As we see it, even after pronouncing that, it does not necessarily mean 3 days later you cannot be able to source some funds somewhere.
So overnight?
Not overnight. Like I said, we are overnight. It was something the increment that you promised.
Someone was saying to me earlier, ke batla go sekisa puso ya UDC kana ba haela ha ba sekisa ibile ka ke puso ya ditshwanelo ha ba pressure ya la ba gonela. So this is how some people view you as the UDC.
Yeah, you know, perceptions are real.
While the perceptions, thank you for saying that. And
but the truth is,
honorable, perceptions matter more than reality, more than facts. So aren't you worried about this perception?
Perceptions are perennial and are inevitable. They are ever going to be there. And therefore, whether they perceive to be something that is perpetual, but if the reality on the ground shows otherwise.
So you're not worried?
At the moment, I'm not worried because I know we are taking one step at a time to actually fulfill our promises.
Let's go for a quick commercial break. Ladies. Alrighty, welcome back. In case you just tuned in, this is your political show. Beyond the headlines, the story behind the story. Well, you can see the headline, what it carries, to put everything into perspective. Let's Montsosa, Honorable Brigadier General Domcaza Mokgwathi. Welcome back, sir.
Thank you.
Relevant to governance, relevant to accountability. You are the member of parliament for Letlhakeng. Formerly Letlhakeng Lepepe, right?
Yeah, Letlhakeng, yeah.
Formerly
Lepepe, yes.
Yes. In its work, Honorable Lika Kabli Moago Itobala Kakahiso. Me Kanye Kilenka, you Kakao, your brother is a councillor, especially nominated councillor, Honorable Gordon Mokgwathi,
yes,
who happens to be the council chair, Letlhakeng.
Yes.
And I'm sure you are involved in this process. First of all, tell us about the process of special election. I'm a councillor. Your brother. Some people are saying this is nepotism at the highest level. This is corruption at the highest level.
Thank you very much for the question. Very good question. First of all, during the president's first SONA, he actually gave us 5 variables that which we should be looking at.
Right.
One of them, he says, we have to bring back trust. Right. nka dumela jalo ka gore ha o ka ra tlhoko section 78 79 go ne go na batho ba sa tsengwa mo molao motheong wa Botswana, and therefore re na le tumelo ya gore batho ba bangwe ne go tswa go teke ga se the main people in Botswana.
Right.
Yeah. So re le ka lekana sa bobedi equitable distribution of resources, mongwe le mongwe ditlamelo tsa meamuso ya Botswana go ya puso le kana mongwe le mongwe sa botlhane e nne mo go tweng corruption in so se leng gore ga se le teng mo Botswana. Now, looking at these variables, when you plant potatoes, you don't want to harvest tomatoes.
Right.
So when you look at the quality of a specially elected councillor, you look at certain qualities. First, they should meet the 5 criteria that I believe the president has actually outlined.
Right.
One of them is if you like, apart from the fact that the notion of a specially elected person should have some special skills.
What special skills does he have?
He's an economist, an economic planner. And therefore, I believe with his professional outlook and him having worked in government and understand this government and accountability, he would be in a position to actually guide and, if you like, propel what actually is the mandate of the current government.
So that some people don't look at you and be skeptical to say no.
Good question. Before my brother was recommended for special election, I personally didn't initiate it, but the public who actually valued him because they had seen his previous.
But you could have declined it. You are a leader.
Yes, you are right. I'm still coming to that. I was like any leader. I was skeptical. Then I had to put my cards on the table and say, let me scan around the horizon of my own people. At the time, because he was the only person at the time who had shown interest, let me scan around. First of all, I have to ensure that whoever gets into doing what I'm mandated to do,
right,
something that could be trusted, somebody who can be trusted, somebody who is knowledgeable, somebody who can actually ensure that all the mandate of the government is fulfilled professionally. And accountable.
It's now up to the constituents your reasoning. There's been talk of this also amongst the UDC because we are spending a lot of money got this exercise. Number one. Number two, you say specially nominated, but some of these people don't even have skills, let alone special skills. We are just rewarding loyalty. The campaign manager was a foot soldier.
Well, the UDC, umbrella for democratic change, the concept of change is inevitable. If you come into a system that actually has not been doing things right, not putting the right personnel at the right places, then one could say maybe specially elected councillors are of no use. But if you look at the original essence of it, as opposed to rewarding those foot soldiers, the notion was to make sure that whoever is elected as specially elected must be somebody who will inject some form of dynamism.
That's what I'm saying. That is not happening as we speak.
It is happening. As far as I'm concerned.
So you support special nomination of councillors and even MPs. And why do they have constituency allowance or whatever it's called? Why?
You see, when the law has been enacted in Parliament, not fulfilling it will negate.
The law is there. Molao o dirilwe ke batho, o hetolwa ke batho. I'll support that, this exercise, yes or no?
Like I said, fulfilling promises one step at a time. During the time of navigating in this government, there might come a time where we say, do we really need this?
What is your stance?
At the moment, because the law still stands, I would say...
So how stand?
The stand is, I stand as per the law. The law is the law is the law. And
it's not written on stone,
yes.
Honorable. Yeah. It's not written on stone. Do you support it or not? I'm
not afraid of this. It's hard. Like I said, change comes through time.
The backbencher ko UDC a letlelwa go bua, letlelwa go ntsha maikutlo a lona, a letlelwa go kgala ditsamaiso tsa puso tse ding tse le bonang le sa dumang le tsone.
Definitely. So
what is your stance on this one? Forget the law. Molao wa hetolo wa support kana e kana nya.
Let's put it this way. Azerbaijan, there has been some serious human capital investment. The first time the special election was introduced, perhaps the elites in Botswana were very minimal.
That's fair enough. Stay tuned. Beyond the headlines, right here on YTV, Ribuas Politik, Mary Supe, the Partisas Politik, this is the second guest from the UDC, Atlanta. We've heard about 3-4 from the BCP, BPF, BPP, rep. Le bailon ka tsoke ba lebetse le party ya gare butela ra laletse ka kwaro ke ra le honorable brigadier general Domcaza Mokgwathi wa ka ko Letlhakeng re bua ka governance di tsamaiso re bua ka accountability gore go tsewe maikarabelo a mme tsene ba supile ile ba UDC gore ba go di dira ba santse ba tsepame mo go tsone. Honorable, welcome back. Ne re bua ya no nka gona gore le ika gore le puso ya ditshwanelo. You are people centered. Me also you are based on merit ke di appointments tsa lona le ha ka ha re dirisa gongwe those three factors go lekala.
Well, indeed re bua ditshwanelo
ke mo rialo
if you listen to the president of UDC or President Duma Boko, every time he talks of human rights, he puts human being at the center stage of governance.
But saying doesn't mean hore.
Yes, example.
Ke khona hore ha ke le ra ke a go batla le khare bebe ke le ra ke mo maemong a go isa ko manobonobo me go sa re gore ke mo seemong sa go iralo. Are we walking the talk?
We are walking the talk. One of the things that Sanso re se tlhaloganye ke gore ile hela o kana the moment o tsela motho kagiso mo pelong o tsere ditshwanelo tsa gago.
Gat we are a said nation. So do you first of all agree that we are a said nation?
Well, that could be nothing but a perception, because what you see, but by whose standards? If you have to say we are a said nation, perhaps
I'm said.
Probably you are said because you choose to be said. You see, it's a choice of somebody to be said. It's a choice.
Are we a violent nation?
Naturally, we believe in in the first instance, we are not a violent nation.
So you don't agree with
but because evolution, when people evolve, obviously there are changes in humankind.
So you don't share the president's sentiments that we are a violent nation?
A statement that is said, president is high is of high intellect. Sometimes when he says something, you need to read beyond the words.
So are you saying Karwar is of high intellect? You are saying he operates on a higher frequency, or some of us cannot even interpret what he's saying, remisa context. If you are saying so, he's not relatable to Batu.
No. That's not what I'm saying. Being an intellectual may actually make sure that you can interact even with the lowest people in the society. I've got a philosophy that I always call Mokgwathi 4 rings of human coexistence. The first one is the common man, me and you and everybody else. The other ring that...
Are you a common man? You are not a common man. You are a legislator.
Common man in the sense that somebody who coexists with other human beings. Not necessarily that we've got different status. Even in a ring, there is the outer, the periphery of a ring and the center of a ring. You see?
It's a statement that's next earlier. So somehow you are going to try and dodge some of my questions. But anyway, what's the second ring?
The second ring is the ring of the genius.
Mm-hmm.
And the genius normally dwell in that ring, and most of the time is with the common man. You see? And when in that ring, when somebody has got fine intelligence, like say our leadership, remember the third ring is the ring of insanity.
Insanity.
And the fourth ring is the ring of spiritual ring.
Spiritual ring.
Yes.
Unpack the spiritual ring.
The spiritual ring is, if you see somebody who is extremely intelligent, who has got no fine intelligence like the current leadership. There's fine intelligence, the extreme intelligence, which now traverses you into the ring of insanity. And when you reach that particular ring, we call it Mutuamudimu. Now he cannot see, he only sees himself as a God creator, and he doesn't see the world the way in which we perceive it.
Which ring, you know?
It's the ring of spiritual ring. Mm-hmm. After transgressing from the ring of insanity, then you go into the ring of spirits, where now is you and God who communicate.
Mm.
Yes.
Where do you fall? Do you fall in these rings?
Well,
I
am a common man because I relate with you inter alia, but it does not mean I cannot actually go into the ring of somebody who could be, if you call, a genius. But depending on my domain as the common man, I might go there but come back to my own ring, which is of a common man.
Okay, you are still trying to qualify and justify.
Yes, in the sense that one of the things that when the government UDC took over government, one of the things that he made sure that Mr. Piteng, how was actually for 3 years. Their rights were violated.
Do you ever pause and think about the family of that particular gentleman? I don't want to say the name because I sometimes pause and think about Baba Mekgileng. Sometimes I'm trying to score political points.
No. It was not to score a political point. It was to show that, as we promised, we are government of human rights, and we don't want anybody to be violated.
Some Batswana are saying about força concord.
One thing that Batswana should understand: the concord is the first and the last court. It's not the first time that there's been change where the constitution has been changed to say to form a concord. In 1888, 1966, we did the same thing. And when there is a change and we want to make sure that it's a ka bo tlhokahalang gore e re motho ona a kgathagetse ditshwanelo a kgone go bona tshiamelo ke sone se re se batlang ga re rata go dira concord.
Ke a go utlwa honorable. Hold that thought, Starboy, ka ha re nwe metsi o ska suta. Re semeletse re gata re gatoga mo beyond the headlines ke thulaganyo ya sepolotiki re le mo YTV o na le Let's Montsosa kodu ya roropa gone a kana le honorable Brigadier General Mokgwathi, a member of parliament for Letlhakeng. Re bua ka governance, re bua ka accountability a ditshologetso tsa bone le ba UDC ba kgonne go di tshegetsa kgang ya meritocracy gore lona la penta batho based on merit aya diragala ya tsela. If you think, please give me a couple of examples.
Thank you very much, Les Montsosa. Meritocracy is a package in a human being. It's a blend of attributes that somebody has actually earned either through school or through experience.
Right.
And therefore, I believe my government, so far, since 2024.
Udumela yalo kana go ntse yalo.
Go ntse yalo.
Mpedi kae?
I'll give you an example. If you look at our current cabinet, it's a cabinet that has been, you know, if you like, examined intellectually and determine the best out of the cream the creme de la creme. I believe, you know, when you talk of a cream, it does not mean I'm not a cream.
Right.
But there is creme de la creme within the cream. And therefore, it does not necessarily mean because I am the cream, I could possibly be creme de la creme. But the issue is, whatever appointment that is being done in public service, it is based on merit. Like I said, it is a blend of attributes that actually contribute to that human being to be.
Gona le batho ba ileng gore ba mo pusong ba Batswana ba reng ba sologetse le lona le santse le baakanya le campaign le ka kwa ne le bua gore gola le bang wa tshwantse gore ba sutise remove old furniture, remove it, but ha le tsena batho re ntshang batho la re kobe batho na re kobe batho ba mbare batho ba ba khone.
Thank you so very much. That's a very good question. In strategy, before you go to war, you should make sure that you study the war. You study the terrain, you study the weather, you study mountains, you study...
Can you run the government as if you are running a military camp? Those are two parallel things.
For you to run a very good government, military philosophy has to be put into place. Military strategy has to be put into place. Without many governments around the world, they actually, even business entities, employ military concepts to actually run their businesses. Let's take government as a business entity, that which actually is mandated to actually run government of the day. It means certain variables that they have to employ with specific operational lines. That is a concept from the military. As you can tell, even though you might say the military and the public service or the government do not go hand in hand, they do. Because if you look at all the ministries, each one has got its own operational line. And therefore, each one has got its own mandate, which it can fulfill at any given time and at different times. And therefore, the fact that every time you have to think of the strategic end state, it is what actually these ministries or these operational lines, just like when you go to war, there are so many quantum of forces that you have to employ. That is equivalent to ministries so that you can reach the end state that you want to achieve. So it's similar. If I put it this way, it's very much the same.
You, the UDC government, you are failing to disrupt the status quo. It's like the same old government. It's just the same old whiskey in the same bottle.
You see, every time you go into government, you start to govern. You have to have strategic objectives and primary objectives. And primary objectives, actually you knock them one by one to reach the primary one. And therefore, the way I see it, the way in which we are doing things one step at a time, we have achieved certain promises. And therefore, with that...
This name too. Also more have another school will also more people give me two more.
Look at 𝐼𝐴𝐿𝐴𝐻𝑒ng, it has been transformed into public works, whereby
that's
now...
That's just a name transformation.
We have employed the concept of STEAM, science, technology, engineering, art, and mathematics, to actually improve the skills of the common man, if you like, the artisans, or the peasants, or the workforce that has been working in the rural or in government, in local governments, to actually improve their skills and certificating them.
Is it the same as approach na TVET?
Yes.
Is it the same thing?
It's the same philosophy, the same concepts.
Okay, 𝐾𝐜𝐻Eng, what's the second one?
The other one that we have worked into is the issue of improving even the VDCs.
How so?
Now the VDCs are, because they are going to be employed or elected on merit. That is what we have improved. If you look at the current VDCs, most of them are people who actually have had change in their thinking capacity. They've been to schools.
There's a lot of corruption happening within the VDC and its activities and whatnot.
You know, when you inherit a government that is rotten not only from the core but to the core, obviously there's going to be some porous peripheries where even when you try to stop the corruption, it's going to be a bit difficult. Remember, a corrupt person is very difficult to deal with, and therefore it is a matter of time that with time we believe corruption shall be a thing of the past.
Yes. Thank you so much. Let's go for a quick commercial break. Governance and accountability. Is the UDC government keeping its promises? Drop us a comment in the comment section. Welcome back. Another day of political conversations on Beyond the Headlines. Honorable Brigadier General Domcaza Mokgwathi Letlhakeng. Honorable, what are some of the leaks, the leakages where government was bleeding money? That's
a good question. You see, first, the procurement system was flawed. Remember, I think about 2021, I changed the law, PPADV to PPRA. And therefore, I think some challenges because people were transforming from another procurement system to another. And therefore, naturally, it will have, when you start to employ that particular legislation or that particular procurement act, the people took advantage of the fact that there was an overlap of PPAD project and the PPRA project.
So do more direct appointment?
Yes, direct appointment is part of the procurement processes or procurement legislation. And normally, a direct appointment is based on, like you are saying, if you know this company is going to give me the best. It's not always to say, even if it's a bit costly, what you need is the end result. What is the quality that you're going to receive?
They are skeptical.
I wouldn't think that's the philosophy that which direct procurement is done, is to address the issue, is mainly to address the issue of quality time and if you like the right equipment to come at the right prices. You see, it does not necessarily mean if somebody has been directed to procure, it does not mean you cannot negotiate with them. You still have got a threshold to say, I've got this much. Even if just like whenever you make a proposal or make a bid or a tender document and you float it, you normally already have got something
an expression of interest.
You already know how much you would have. So it does not mean even if you have to augment that particular company, it is sealed, you still can negotiate. And therefore, whether it's direct, restricted, or international, or local procurement, is something that which you can determine yourself. You can even say, if this man cannot meet your requirements, you can stop him straight away.
Do you think the direct procurement of medicines and medicinal products and whatnot, by CMS, there was state of public health emergency, the pharmaceuticals, it takes time, we are trying to bridge that gap. Do you think that exercise bad positive results?
Let me put it this way. The issue of medicine or procurement, general procurement is something that has got a supply chain. When it's got a supply chain, if there are bottlenecks due to corrupt practices, remember, if the producer or the manufacturer has a debt, the only person who can be able to procure 𝐾𝐸 will have the monopoly of actually procuring from the source. And this is what had happened before. I can give you an example of other than that other one. Remember, long time back, we used to buy Toyota from one company. If you had to go to Japan and try to buy that Toyota, they will tell you no. They got a dealer go a particular country who actually you should go direct to. So this, in the process of doing all these things, obviously there is going to be some challenges.
Okay. So no, let's say we are bleeding money through the procurement processes. So this direct appointment is going to mitigate such.
Exactly. It's going to mitigate such because now you have got one person or one contract that you are actually looking at. And remember, the issue of direct appointment, the supplier, the contractor, and confident that he was trusted, and therefore he will not want to fail because he knows that if he can fail, then he is likely never to get any appointment in the future.
How are we going to do our due diligence? Is that what all we should worry about?
Yes, one thing that I can promise is the UDC government is accountable to the people of Botswana. Anything that the UDC does through it at any level, it is actually looking at Botswana as the center stage. And therefore, I don't believe even our president is even quoted saying that even us, Parliament, we should not be involved in businesses.
Yeah.
And therefore, again, like you are saying, it will be good for the nation to look at the end state. Has what was proposed for been good value for money for Botswana?
Right. So kabona ko ya bobedi ke o fe mokgwa ileng gore latlhegelwa ke madi ka puso le dirang ka yone.
Madi a puso la tlhaka through obviously the endemic corruption that has been existing. You see, when the system has been wired such that in our bloodstream is corruption, obviously it's very difficult for us to change human mind to say, if you realize
Mathata ga ke itse magodu. I don't have close proximity to magodu, so I don't know the school of thought.
Let me say they give me another example.
It's magodu.
Yes, ke itse magodu.
So close le bona.
Nya ke ba itse ke close ba ke ba bona le gore thoke le godu. O se le dikgomo tsa batho.
Bangwe ba tle ba re kana ba politiki ke magodu o le godu.
Ba bua jalo ba bonye mo go teng ha ore dikgomo di a sisa o bona ka tsa halo go ba bonye motho go ngwa o tsitse it does not
ona ra go le ga o kara a o le godu.
I get khagala go godu ka skebe ke u.
Thank you so much, sir.
Yes.
Let's go for a break. We'll be right back. Alrighty, welcome back to the last lap of the show, the last segment of Beyond the Headlines. Re garela le Honorable Brigadier General Mokgwathi. Honorable, a ka re tsamaela ko go garela mogolle ga teletse me you are failing to change the culture of the technocrats by direla puso. Some are even saying there is even resistance from within. Sekai se ke tleng ke utlwa batho ba se bua from the top of my head who say dikoloi tsa puso go gona go taga dina petrol e le kganya gore go ba ngalla gore gate no overtime and what not dikoloi ga di tshelwe batho ga ba tsebe ba tshwantseng go tsewa e le kganya e le resistance and trying to sabotage. What are your thoughts around that? And line e tlhele re bona kwa di BX di le go tshela petrol ke utlwa ke kgorama swabi tota ka kganya. What is going on?
That's right. In times of crisis, economic crisis, there is a need for a nation to go into austerity measures. One of the things that the government has to do is to actually reduce spending. And as you can see, there has been and when we are still building the economy, there is likelihood that such bottlenecks are going to be experienced.
Not as purchase. Sinile makgwakgwa overnight. Ile hela domkara ga ela tlhegolwa ke ditlhopho. A be ebile se purchase nna makgwakgwa go no.
Ga sa go simolla go nna makgwakgwa ka tsela e leng gore se kgwakgwala se iketlile. Mme at the commission point ha re tsa puso e be sena makgwakgweng a
ne ba sa bui ka sone bone on the brink of the elections. Gore spatche kana ke se ba gaetso. The government investment account ke yone ka gore spatche we are running dry.
They would not have said that because that would become a political rhetoric. It will be something that it will be suicidal for them to have said that for themselves, because they were sure that even if they lose elections, if they would have said that, they would lose them forever and ever after.
So akanya gore hanne ba ka di winner ne tla re hala ba sna go winner e ba
nka ba re le mathata
yeah kra re ba hetso go winner e ba re ba gaetso spatch se magwago. You think they were going to say the same
thing?
They
were going to say the same thing. They were going to say the same
Why
thing.
Why are you 100% sure?
Because the reality is smakwakwa, and therefore there was no
the government fleet etleng tlhomagane kwa di BX di tlhola ko di tshela di go tshela petrol. What's going on?
Rationalizing resources is another factor that any government should be in a position to do.
But are you aware, as the ruling government, the ripple effect ya BX e tlholang kwa e ka bo e tsere mongwe a go dira sengwe motsei wa tshwetso? Are you aware of all of these things?
The ripple effect is inevitable nonetheless. If the purpose for having that very long queue is to make sure that we, at the end of the day, achieve our end state, it is as good as if they were going to fuel this instantly and go.
Are there any elements within the government, within the technocrats, the bureaucrats, by the Galapus bylaw, they are resisting change, they are sabotaging the government?
I wouldn't dismiss that, because if somebody chooses not to perform because there's got a tendency or a habit of not performing, and he cannot perform, it is a matter of time for us to detect and maybe lay them to rest, if you may put it that way.
So how do you deal with such elements?
Time will tell. It's a matter of having to actually analyze the systems that exist.
You are running against time. You are almost halfway through.
Yes.
There's no time. When will time tell? Where will this time come from?
The time, the 3 years that is left, my government.
Some are even say it's less than 3 years because you are going to have to go for an election for primary, primary elections and whatnot. Some are saying it's even less than that.
I'm an optimist. I believe with the measures, with Botswana economic transformation.
But are you realistic?
We are realistic because if you look at our national development plan driven by BETP, we are sure that all the projects that which are running at the moment are going to be fulfilled within the coming year.
Manano
a teng ke ona manano a bua ka ona na bua ka manano a youth a leng gore they can go and access them from the ministry or in the local governments.
A re lebele kgang e leng gore e tshwenya lefatshe la Botswana gompieno ya tlhako le molomo, foot and mouth. The beef sector has got a huge value chain. First of all, we live young, foot and mouth rates, young. How did we get here? How can we get out of here? A reliable source told me that you have more than 400 cows.
I'm not sure of that story. Perhaps
But you didn't deny the story when the story was narrated.
They will want to promote me to say I'm a cattle baron, but
no, we want to do declaration of assets. Do you have more than 400 cows?
I have not counted them at the moment.
House to 400, 2,000.
What I'm sure of, they are around 3.
That's a lot. I know how, but
prior to that, you talk of Mananeo. Remember le mandijo. We shall determine whether it has been able to fulfill or to achieve.
What are we doing with the notes? Some of these things can be can be wind pollinated. Pollinator all this time. Why do we need the notes where why can't you be worried for my belly year in year out? Why can't you tap into other markets like sunflower and whatnot?
We we are looking at variety of crops. Sunflower and many others. If you look at Pandamatenge, for example, it does not necessarily mean we are going to end up Pandamatenge. There are going to be some clusters, particularly in rural areas, where we're going to make sure that all of our produce. And therefore, even then, even the concept of growing flowers to actually enhance honey, right, or honey production is going to be implemented.
Foot and mouth.
Foot and mouth. Yes, foot and mouth. Remember, cattle industry is one of the economic ministers of Botswana, and therefore, when there is a challenge where there is foot and mouth, a strategy to curb it so that it does not spread, so that we can still have the market.
What should be done? We just lost the EU market. What should be done, foot and mouth?
Well, we after overcoming the scourge or the challenge, obviously Botswana is international. And even if you have lost your EU market, which I'm not very certain we will lose it completely, we will look at other markets to enhance our
Yeah,
business.
karetso ya moragare wena o bua ka gore ha re sena go tswa gore diversify mmaraka. How are you going to get out of this issue of foot and mouth?
Yes, it is through prevention and controlling, making zones that will actually not allow cattle to roam all over, so that the sketch can be contained.
Seemo ke mme ko kgaolong ka foot and mouth ko kgaolo ya gago?
At the moment, it is promising. I cannot say is like any other. I cannot say tomorrow what I know about tomorrow, but for today, I think everything is still fine.
Are we going to get to 5 million cattle by 2030?
With proper management, yes. With the current population of cattle, if we do cattle
foot and mouth.
yes, foot and mouth does not always mean cattle are going to die proper, especially 𝐼𝐴ZZRDKNT. So it does not mean they will definitely die.
But mahuduso a rona a kgothega hela because of invasive species, invasive plants. Gona le nngwe ya ne rateng o tshwana le sunflower ke le ba lina la yone yellow yana. That's an invasive plant e ya mahudiso a rona e leng gore rena le go ipoka re kgomo ya rona is the best nama ya rona because it's grass fed, but ha re lebelle yone mahudiso a nyela a kgothegang. You talk about head for health, gat it's voluntary ba ga re tsenelle mahudiso ra reng ka yone because ga se mongwe le mongwe o kgonang go isa go di feedlot teng.
That's right. The issue is, as Botswana, we did a communal land grazing system, and therefore, the Plasahadi, as they cannot contain all the cattle that we have. And looking at the population, even if you were to get them into ranches, they will overgraze the ranches. At the same time, you are talking about that plant which has actually evaded the veld.
Right.
It is a matter of scientific research to find out as to how we can be able to actually eliminate that kind of plant, just like any other plant. There's a way in which you can get rid of them.
Right.
The one is an invasive plant.
Honorable, thank you so much for passing by.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
So much. Thank
This
you.
is how the show is coming to an end. Arikopane gape ka tsatsi la bobedi. Oh yes. Good evening.